Hi, in today's video we will be taking a look at adding product details to our product details page. My name is Morten and this video is part of the Ucommerce for Umbraco masterclass. Okay, let's jump right into it. So here we have the category page that we finished off yesterday where we added product pricing and we also added links for our products. So when I click on this link, we are no longer getting a 404 because in the previous exercise we also created the product page inside Umbraco. As part of the URL, we also have the query string parameter here, product equals 105, which indicates what product we're looking at. So now we can actually extract that using the top-level APIs in Ucommerce. So the first using statement we need for this is ucommerce.runtime. This is always where we access the catalog context from. As part of the catalog context, we previously used current category, which was to present the category page and grab the information for the current category. In here, we want to have our product. So now we can call ucommerce.runtime catalog context is what we need to use in order to grab it. Catalog context is part of the site context that will be populated for each request. So on catalog context we have current category and we have current product as well. Like this. Alright, now that we have the current product, let's see what kind of information that we're interested in actually showing. So let's go back into our editor here in the back end. Here I have Black and White Wonderland, which is actually the product that we're looking at on the front end right now. A product contains a SKU, which is the stock keeping unit, and it's a unique identifier for the product in the business that you're creating a web shop for. So this will probably not make any sense to you, but for the business owner, this is actually what identifies what product we're looking at. It's not the primary key in the database that's stored as an integer, but this is a number that are relevant for the actual product. Besides that, we also have multilingual functionality on products, so we can set a display name, short description, long description, just like we did on the category. We also have the ability to categorize products. We saw that previously. We have some media items that we can set. We have the pricing option, which we already explored, and then we have reviews, so customers can actually go in and place reviews for the products that they purchased. And then we have this concept called related product, where we can go in and set product relations for cross-sell and upsell purposes based on different relation types that we're setting. And then we have this concept here called variance. And variance here is actually an important concept that we need to know about in Ucommerce before we can do the actual product taxonomy for the product catalogs that we're creating. In some cases we have variance, in some cases we don't. And what makes up the definition of variance in Ucommerce is based on the definition that we tie together with our product. In this case, we have a product definition called shirt. And definitions is actually sort of the same concept as document types in Umbraco. We just have the ability to do some further configuration of it to determine if it's a variant or not. So this is more a commerce related document type, if you will. It has the same purpose as document types in Umbraco, which is the ability to attach custom data to the items that we're creating. In this case, it's products. So for all the definitions we also have a bunch of definition fields. This is what we would call property editors in Umbraco. And we can create them using the backend here by right-clicking on them and click create. And that will give us the ability to specify a unique name for this definition where we can attach custom data to that particular field. And just like in Umbraco, we have the ability to specify what the editor or the data type should be. So we can either have images, we can have content coming from Umbraco, we can have all sorts of different things, and we can of course extend this, and we will take a look at that in the deep dive part of the training here as well. So this will basically just determine what the editor that we see in the backend is. It will always be stored as a string down in the database. So we need to be able to pass the data that we're editing into a string. If it's multiple pieces of data, that could be a relevant way of storing that as, for example, JSON or something like that. Otherwise, it will just be stored as a string, and then we can convert it inside the UI and convert it for the front end if we need to as well. And the name that we assign it here will also be the key that we need to use if we want to extract the data on the front end and present it. So let's take a look at some of them. Here for shirts, for example, we have color size. And color size is one of the fields that we have for shirts. We can specify whether or not it should be multilingual, so whether or not we want to maintain this property in multiple languages. Then we have some additional fields here, display and website, which is not something that we observe out of the box in Ucommerce, but it's a tool that you can use in order to determine if you want to show properties on the front end or not. We can also hide it inside the editor by specifying render in editor. And then we can use in faceted search, which means that when we display facets on the front end for a category, Ucommerce will automatically figure out what facets are available and then use that to render the facets. And this flag here indicates whether or not it should be part of that. And then we have the concept here called variant property. And the variant property here determines whether or not a product actually contains variants. And this is based on the definition. So here we have the shirt definition, and if one or more of the fields that are part of the shirt is marked as a variant property, then the definition itself will be what we call a product family, which is basically just a product that contains variants. So if there is a natural slice in your data that determines that this is a variation of the same product, like a color or a color size of a shirt, then that becomes a product family. So it's the same shirt, it's the same material maybe it's the same brand, so on and so forth. But that little piece of data that indicates whether or not it becomes a variation of a product is determined by the field here. A color, for example, is a natural variation of a shirt. So it's the same shirt, but you can have it in green, you can have it in red, you can have it in yellow, and maybe you can also have it in multiple sizes. So it's the same shirt, but in different variations. That's what the variant property here is for. And as stated, if one or more fields is marked as a variant property, then the definition becomes a product family. When that's the case, we will see the variant editor inside the product here. So the variants tab here will show up, and I can now modify the products that are part of this product family. What we will see is that if the fields are marked as variant properties, then we can edit all those data for all of the variants. And if it's not marked as a variant property, it will be shown here on the product editor for the product family. So shown homepage, for example, is a field that has not been marked as a variant property. Variants and products is based on a composite pattern, which means that variants is just products like the product family is. Which means that we have the same capabilities of maintaining the same data for variants as we do for product families. It also means that when we use the products here in our code, it will all be the same type, which is a product. It also means that we can maintain pricing for variants as well. So when we add a variant to the basket, we will automatically figure out if we should use the variant pricing. If it has been set, we don't need to. Otherwise, it will just default to the price of the product family. In some cases, variants will not have any effect on the price, but in some cases they will. And in Ucommerce, you have the option of doing either way. So that's it. That's what we can edit here in the backend. Let's try to show some data on the front end again. So we have our product, and we are interested in populating the product view model here. With the SKU. We also have a long description, and to extract that, which is part of the product description of a product that are multilingual, we can import the Ucommerce extensions namespace, which will give us the ability to call current product dot long description. We also want the display name. So we have the SKU, the long description, and the name. Let's try to take a look at the variants. To do that, we will use the helper method that I have down here on line 26, which is map variants. And here I want to use current product.variants. And we will actually just do the same thing. First of all, we will have to iterate the variants. We will create a new model. And we will add it to the variant models. And then basically what we want to do is store the same things. Only difference here is that the variant SKU is part of variants as well. Like that. So that's it. We also need to set the pricing of our product, and as stated, we can have that both on the variant level and on the product family level. In our case here, Avenue Clothing is configured to only have pricing on the family level, which means that we would just have to call product model dot price calculation equals to Ucommerce API catalog library dot calculate price, which takes in our product. And this is the same API as we use to display product pricing on the category page. All right, that's it. Let's try to compile our solution and see what happens. So the solution is compiled. Let's refresh the front end. All right, so here we see the display name, we see the pricing, and we see the long description of our product. And down here in the drop-down list, we see all the different variants that we have available. In here, we are displaying the variant SKU of our product, which is the one that we will use when we add it to our basket a little later on. So that's it. Now it's time for you to write some code. Now you need to recreate the same product page as I just did. So you need to pause the video and try to explore the different APIs that I used. Please remember to use the handouts provided for the training part. You will see all the relevant APIs that you need to use in order to compose the product page. Once you're done with that, come back and resume the video for a brief recap of what we actually achieved in this exercise. Alright, let's do a brief recap of what we learned in this exercise after creating the product page. The first thing that we did was that we explored the product editor. We saw that we could maintain different aspects of the product directly in the back end, like product reviews, product relations for cross-sell and upsell. We have multilingual capabilities just like we do on the category editor. And we saw that we can maintain pricing and categorize our products in the catalog. These are all things that we worked with previously. The new concept that we introduced in this exercise was product definitions. And product definitions is the ability to set custom data for the products just like we have on document types on Umbraco. The additional thing here to definitions is that they are a little more commerce related, which means that we have the ability to set definition fields, which is the same thing as property editors in Umbraco, to have variant properties. The variant properties on a definition will determine if the definition is what we call a product family, which is a product that contains variants. If that is the case, then we will see the variant tab on the product editor, and we will have the ability to maintain all the different definition fields that are marked as variant properties on the page. If that is not the case, the variant tab will be hidden and the product is just what it is. On the front end, we use the API to grab current product on the catalog context, just like we did with the category page. And we did the same product price calculation as we did on the category page to display what the price for the product actually is. And then we use the product entity model to loop our variants and display that in a drop-down list. So now we actually have a fully functional product editor and product page that allows us to add products to our basket. But we haven't implemented that just yet, which is the next thing that we're going to introduce in the next video. So hopefully we will see you again very soon. Thanks for watching and see you soon.